Yeah, just for some before and after. This is the steering wheel extension now, which is a real problem for a tall driver. I'm 6'3", and the steering wheel just never feels like it's in the right place. It feels like it's too low, and it's too far away. And when I move the seat up, my knees are hitting the bottom of the steering wheel. So the idea is, well, the steering wheel's tilted slightly already. If I extend it 2 inches, then it'll be up higher because of the tilt. And maybe I can avoid having to replace the seat to lower my body relative to the steering wheel. And I'll get some more legroom because I can move the seat back a couple inches. So if all goes well, I have a good seating position without having to change the seats. If it doesn't work, then we'll be changing the seats too. But this is the extension piece that I picked up. This is a real nice product. It's got another shaft, spline shaft with a nut on it. The spline hole on the back side goes on the existing steering shaft and attaches with a nut, and then the silver portion of this screws onto it, and the steering wheel goes on top of that. So it's kind of like a stack extension that goes on the end of your steering shaft that just moves the steering wheel out the width of that black piece there. And it's all, the body of this is made of aluminum. The hub portion is machined out of solid steel. It's a real nice part. So they put a lot of work into this. This is all anodized in black, and this inner hub steel portion is done with black oxide. And this outer piece, I'm not sure if that's plated or no, I don't think it's plated. I think it could be stainless steel. But that's a nice part. Yeah, I ordered from these guys. Yeah, where did it come from? Yeah, came from outside the country, that's for sure. Yeah, so that's the name of the company I ordered it from. I contacted these guys through eBay. They had some listings on there. They didn't say they shipped to the United States, so I contacted them. They said they'd send it to me. But yeah, that was the total, you know, that's in euros. So yeah, in dollars it was yeah, it was around 2.5. Big bills when I got done with it, but you know, considering how much goes into making a part like that, that's cheap. That isn't bad at all. I've got a full machine shop in the basement, and I could make a part just like this. By the time you get done doing all your design work and machining and tool setups and buying some extra tool pieces and fixtures, you know, hey, it turns into like a month-long project, and my time's worth more than $250. So you pick your battles. You know, the things that are going to be fun to do, I do in my shop at home and make things. But you know, when I can buy something for like this, yeah, I'm just gonna go over that and get things done. You gotta pick what you have your fun making, and also admit when it's just stupid to make things when other people have already got the things made for you at a sensible price. And this is a sensible price. So let's continue here. First step here is to take off this existing steering wheel. So there's there's a couple of T30 screws back here. You have to start to get the airbag off the front of the steering wheel. So I use this adapter here with a T30 bit, and I loosen that up using a wrench and an extension to get some leverage on it. So I can pull the airbag. I already disconnected the battery. Once you get those two screws undone, you can pull the airbag away, and then you gotta pop this connector. I'm gonna put the camera down to do that because I want to pry it off gently with a screwdriver to get it up without damaging it. And then I'll set the airbag aside, and then we got to get in there and take that nut off. I think it's about an M22 or 22 millimeter rather nut that needs to come off of there, and then we can pull the steering wheel and slide the extension piece on, and then put the steering wheel back in the vehicle and pick up that 2-inch extension here. So I'm gonna put this down. All right, so I got the airbag out of there. So you can see the airbag connector dangling here, and then we get the big nut back there. Yeah, I couldn't find any of my metric sockets, but I found it's a 15/16 socket that fits nice and tight on it. So we're going to use that to loosen this up. And that's going to take more than just one hand, so we'll be back at you. So this nut came loose probably too easily. I just held the steering wheel with one hand and turned the wrench with the other. And what we'll do now is just back this nut off a few turns, and then if you pull up on the steering wheel, it should pop up, and yeah, it'll just pop up. Boom. See it there move. Sorry to loosen it up. It took two hands on the steering wheel to pull this up, so I just grabbed it, yanked it up against the nut. Okay, came loose with a pretty good pop. That's why I left the nut on there, so it wouldn't come flying off of there and damage any of this wiring that's still kind of back there. So everything's loose now, so I'm going to take this off, and then what I want to do is I'm going to get the key and put it in here and take the steering wheel and straighten it, so I can put the extension on and put the steering wheel on straight, and hopefully it'll be in the right position. I can always go back and move it a spline tooth if it's not quite right, but hopefully we'll get it right by guessing the first time. So I look at these wires here. When this whole steering wheel moves out 2 inches, there's enough length of these wires here to allow this thing to extend, all except for this one wire here. So this one wire here is going to be too short, and that's why this must have come in with the kit that I bought. So it looks like the extension for this wire to make that work. So I guess that's what that's all about. So next step is pull this thing off. And I think I need to get this gray connector out of there, and there's some kind of side latch thing back on the right side there. I've got to get in there. I don't know if you can see it. It looks like there's like a catch inside there. I might have to get in there and pry or something to release it. Yeah, I find it easier just to unplug these connectors on this side of the steering wheel. This gray connector inside there is, yeah, that thing's hard to unplug. I don't even know if it's unplugged, so I'm not going to take a chance with it. I just unplugged all these on the inside, and then the steering wheel pulls right up. Off we go. So I got the steering wheel off. Okay, and I took the silver hub off this extension piece, and I realized I misspoke earlier. This inner spline that goes over the existing steering shaft is aluminum. It's all part of this single billet piece of CNC machined aluminum that forms this spacer component. So I thought that was an inner steel piece that was sandwiched in there, but I was wrong. It's all one piece. So this is going to slide on, and I'm going to check all the clearances and fits, and then the hub portion, this guy here bolts on the face of that, and then that's my new steering wheel mounting shaft that's extended out 2 inches. And there we go. I got that spacer piece on. You can see it on there, and all the wires came through. I put my extension wire on the one lead that was a little shorter than the others. The clock spring back there looks like it's picking up and rotating directly with this hub without any clearance. So they've machined this in a way that, the plastic portions and bits on this inner clock spring housing pick up features that were machined in on this aluminum extension piece. So that looks like it all works just fine. And I'll put the nut the stock nut that came in the car and the washer back on there and tighten that, and then I'll put the hub onto these 4 mounting bolts and try fitting the steering wheel. Okay, I got this thing tightened down. Resorted to using the old rubber strap wrench around the part here to hold it in place so it wasn't beating on the lock mechanism for the steering shaft, and I wanted to keep the steering shaft oriented straight, so I can line this up when I put the steering wheel back on. So I've got that thing tighter than it was originally. Surprisingly, it really wasn't that tight to begin with. A little unnerving. So there it is. I just moved it to the lock position, so we'll have to unlock it. Yeah, so this silver hub piece that just screws down there. So I'm gonna just finish tightening these down and cranking on them, keeping the strap wrench in place there, and then we'll slide the steering wheel over all these wires and see how everything lines up. Try a couple spline positions to make sure I got the best align for the steering wheel. And then we'll button it all back up and try out some different seating positions to see how my shoulders line up to the steering wheel and how much clearance I can get with my knees, and see how much better the steering and driving position is on the car, which should make a big difference for me. The steering wheel is all tight, so we got this tightened up, and get all the wires routed nicely. This one ended up being a little shorter, so I just put the wire in the clip where the connector used to clip in. I think it's just stay put like that. And I got the extension wire in here to lengthen that connection. I bent it down so it would be out of the way to clear the airbag, and I just have to plug this in the airbag and put the airbag in place, and we're done. This is a really quick job. Well, hit our first difficulty with this install. The extension wire that was included in the kit, the crimps weren't very good on it, and when I was tugging on things, they pulled right apart. So I'm an automotive engineer and I specialize in wiring, so I went and got out my professional crimpers and re-crimped these terminals and shrink wrapped them, and turned this one end into a right angle connector, or a right angle terminal, which I think is required to properly clear the airbag. I was having trouble getting the airbag in, so that'll give me a little more clearance. The one that's originally there is a right angle, so let's give it a go now. So I put the right angle bent terminal here. That should give me some clearance. I was worried about, I had this one up there like that, and I think this plastic here on the connector is going to interfere with the back of the airbag. So what I'm going to do is, instead of looping it up there, I'm just going to stuff it down in the hole and leave it like that. I think that'll get it out of the way. That should be fine down there. So let's try bolting up the airbag again.